Welcome to today's broadcast. No matter what kind of day you are having, please remember that God is big and He is good. He is bigger and better than you think. Now, Mom told me that as a little boy, before heading to bed, I would insist on going around the house and making up with everybody. She said I just couldn't stand to be on the outs with anybody at the end of the day. That I wanted to please people at the end of the day didn't seem to fit with my behavior for the previous part of the day. I was apparently so ornery that one of my aunts called me Little Dillinger. All of my life, I've had a desire to please people with my performance, on the one hand. But on the other hand, my performance has not always been very pleasing. If you can relate to what I'm describing, just know that there are many of us around the world. Although I have no empirical evidence, I am convinced that most human beings, at one time or another, can relate to what I'm describing. For me, being raised by a conservative parents in a conservative church denomination, this tendency turned into a desire on my part to please God by my performance. But my performance simply wasn't that pleasing. If you are at all like me, living under the law in your relationship with God must seem quite natural. The performance element of the law, even though I could rarely achieve it, has always had a certain appeal to my sense of perfection. But it also shut me out of accepting God's grace for many years. My salvation experience at age 35 was my admission that I simply could not perform good enough to ever measure up, and I needed some relief. But I was only able to accept the relief that would provide me with eternal life in heaven. I could not accept the relief that Jesus provided for me here on this earth. I had the assurance that Jesus had taken care of things for me in eternity, but I still felt like I had to perform in the here and the now. I continued to believe that my performance was what pleased Jesus here on this earth, not in terms of my eternal security, but in terms of my human existence. I continued to believe that He wanted me for what I could do rather than for who I was. Now, if this is you, please consider something critically important. Consider that Jesus chose you. He did not choose you for what you could do. He chose you. He chose you that you should go out and do what He wants you to do, to bear fruit. We read in John 15:16. You have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you, that you should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever you shall ask of my Father in my name, He may give it to you. Bearing fruit is a byproduct of being attached to the vine. You do not perform by bearing fruit. You perform by staying attached to the vine. You perform by throwing yourself on Jesus. He does all the rest. It is your attachment to Jesus that His grace can be realized. For more, please visit gimethatmountain.org, and you have a wonderful day.